Hi there. In this video I'm going to be discussing maintenance procedures for a Flashforge Adventurer 4 3D printer. Specifically, removing the cabinet's left side plastic window, detaching the Bowden tube and ribbon cable from the extruder, removing the extruder nozzle, removing the extruder body from its mounting plate, loosening and removing the extruder X-axis drive belt, removing the extruder mount plate and replacing it, adjusting the X-axis drive belt, and then reattaching the extruder and then running some tests. First, you'll need to unload the filament from the machine and then position the extruder to a comfortable working height. We're going to be unplugging the machine, and it's impossible to move the extruder in the Z direction by hand. So get it about mid-height. Then power the machine off and unplug it. And once you've got it positioned on your work area, you need to pop off the left side window. The window is stronger than I thought, and it actually bends slightly if you apply pressure from the inside. That pressure will release the first few holding tabs. I've done this several times now, and if you're careful, nothing will break. Wiggle the window to get the last few tabs to release. Just be patient, and the entire window will come free. Next, we're going to remove the extruder head, starting by disconnecting the Bowden tube. This is fairly simple. Just press down on the top of the tube holder while simultaneously pushing the tube down, then up. Then remove the extruder ribbon cable. Rock it slowly up and out of the way. Now, very important, the linear rails have grease on them. You don't want to get any grease on the end of that ribbon cable, so I put mine in a clean Ziploc bag. The next step is to remove the extruder nozzle. This can be done by hand, but if you've printed the nozzle removal tool, it's far easier. Slide it onto the nozzle from the right, push in the two tabs, and pull straight down. Now here's where you might need a flashlight and a draping cloth. The two screws that hold onto the extruder are located underneath of it. Since I knew I would probably drop those screws into the machine, I placed a large white draping cloth over the print bed and carefully covered the holes underneath. Then I moved my flashlight to see what's going on. Remove both screws and put them in a safe place. Now, gently pull the bottom of the extruder toward you, then upward. It'll lift right off. Now take a moment to look at that extruder mount plate. It's a piece of form-fitted plastic that clips onto the three brass rail sliders. Also note how the drive belt connects. The two open ends of that belt meet on the top in the middle area, with the left side of the belt overlapping the right. The belt teeth always face the inside of the belt loop. Now go over to the left side. We removed that plastic window so you could gain access to the drive belt tension screw. As you loosen it, the belt goes loose. My screw did not fall out, but be prepared for that. Now on the inside again, there is a tensioning hub that can be removed out of its socket by pulling on the belt. There's a small metal axle in that hub that typically falls out, so be careful and just keep track of it. With that loose, you can now remove the drive belt. Starting on the left, move your fingers behind the mount and push from the center outward. Then do the same with the other side. Again, be aware of the grease on the linear rails. Keep that grease away from the belt. Pull the bottom of the belt through the holes in the extruder mount. Okay, so the reason I'm doing all of this is because I had a cracked extruder mount, which you can see in this photo. Tech support at Flashforge sent me a replacement, and I'm going to install that now. The top of the extruder mount unsnaps easily from the brass slider, using only moderate pressure. However, the bottom part is hard to unsnap and requires working on it one side and then the other. Do a quick check to verify the sliders slide freely across the rails. Then press fit the replacement bracket into place. I struggled with this because that part fits so snugly. I found the easiest way was to press it hard right up against the rail till it snaps. Be certain you've got it on all the way. Now check it still slides easily. Then clip it to the top slider, and that one's easy. Now press the open end of the drive belt into the mount on the right side. The belt teeth should be facing down. I found I needed to seat the cable as far back as it would go into that mount. To do that, press the inside portion of the cable with your left thumb and the outer portion with your right thumb. Make sure it's flush against the back. Then feed the other part of that cable through the holes in the extruder mount. And pull it through, teeth facing up. Feed that end of the cable into the tensioning hub you took off earlier. Be careful here. The metal axle for that hub falls out easily. I'm holding my thumb over it, so it won't. Just plug the hub back into its socket. Now turn the tightening screw just enough to hold the bracket in place, rather loosely. Then press fit the free end of the drive belt into the extruder mount on the left side. Get it in all the way. Now back over to the side. Tighten the tensioning screw all the way. You'll see the tension in the cable increase as you do. Now here's a little bit of tuning. When I initially slid the extruder mount back and forth, there was a lot of resistance. So I backed off the tension and tried again. I did this a few times. Try to find, by feel, the best balance of slide versus tightness. You'll both hear it and feel it. When done, reattach the extruder body using the 2 screws to clamp it to the mount underneath, and then attach the ribbon cable. Be sure not to touch the contact ends of the cable with your fingers or the greasy linear rails. The fully seated ribbon cable looks like this. Now plug in and turn on, and test the horizontal movement is working okay. Verify you're not hearing unusual noises. I did hear some unusual vibrations or rubbing sounds the first time I did this. Check the tension adjustment and check the drive belt routing through the hubs on both sides, left and right. Finally, reattach the side window. I found it was easiest to start with the clips in the rear, then work my way forward. Again, pressing from the inside to gently bow the plastic until it fits. Take your time and it comes together nicely. Now reattach the extruder nozzle. Now at this point I topped off my maintenance by applying a small amount of grease to the linear rails and worm gears using my fingertip. Movements should sound nice and smooth. After any extruder maintenance, you'll want to recalibrate the bed. I print PETG at 90 degrees Celsius, and I found bed recalibrations are most accurate for me when I preheat the bed 20 minutes or so before calibration. The calibration results are most accurate that way. Now load up some filament. I like to press and hold the filament against the feeder gear until it grabs. I'm also doing a filament color spool change here, so now I'm running out the old filament. And I always clear the ooze off the nozzle tip using a pair of pliers. I'm not squeezing the tip, just grabbing the filament off the hot end to keep it clean. Finally, verify full operation by printing a small test cube. Looks good. If you have a Flashforge Adventurer 4, like and subscribe, and I'll do more video walkthroughs. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your 3D printer.